Joining us now is ABC Action News meteorologist Greg D. to answer a couple of hurricane-related questions for us. The first question I have, Greg, is how difficult is it to forecast a hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean?
Well, Doug, the forecasts, though they are getting better, are still extremely difficult. And one of the reasons is, well, we have very little data. There are no reporting stations out there in the middle of the ocean. So we don't really start to get a good grip on the storm's path until we start sending aircraft to it. That is still limited by range, so we have to wait until a hurricane gets closer to the United States or the islands before we can actually start to figure out what's going on and where that storm is going to go.
So, Greg, obviously the ships stay far away from these storms, but, how big can the seas get around a hurricane?
Seas around a storm can get very high. In fact, a 3 or 4 category hurricane could easily produce 30-foot waves right near the center. Now, even 100 or 150 miles away from the center, you could still get 10 to 20-foot seas. And even beyond that, 200-300 miles from the storm, seas could be up to 5 to 10 feet. In those areas, 300 miles away from the storm, you would be in sunshine. You would not even know the storm is nearby. That's how far those waves extend.
What advice would you offer cruisers booking a sailing during hurricane season?
2 things here, Doug. I think number 1, when you're planning a cruise in September, think more about the ship instead of the actual ports, and be prepared that some of those ports may not happen. You may be spending more time on the ship, so maybe spend a little bit more time in choosing a ship that you'd actually want to be on for a couple of extra sea days if that ship needs to be diverted. The second thing I would tell you is some sort of travel insurance. Remember, it's not just a cruise, it's your drive or your flight there that may be impacted by a storm. In fact, the storm may not be impacting your cruise, but the trip to get there, and having some kind of backup plan or a way to recover your losses is always a good idea.
Very sound advice. ABC Action News meteorologist Greg D. Greg, thanks for stopping by.